And you were up. Good morning. It's the Greg Toll Show. Greg Toll with you, live from the heart of football country in Dallas, Texas, in a hotel room. And one can only imagine every single hotel room around me is wondering, why is that guy screaming? But it is because you and I have the next 3 hours to wax poetic about football. There are many things going on in the world today, sports related and unrelated to sports. But football is king of them all on Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. I'm Drake Toll from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, Amazon Fire TV's College Football Kickoff, and the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports. The Oxford University of radio, the Oxford University of names in sports, and now talk radio 24/7, 365. And today, the morning after, the dust has settled. Black Monday has befell us once again, and the NFL is completely ravaged from what it looked like 48 hours ago in the coaching line of work. 310-840-4910. Today's show is for you. It is you. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910 to call Westwood One Sports. I will start post-Black Monday with Kevin Stefanski being fired by the Browns. This is the wrong move. This is the wrong scapegoat. This is the wrong person to be caught in the crossfires of a terrible organization. Because of the FCC, I cannot say the things that I would like to say about the Cleveland Browns. They finally get it right. They finally hire the coach that I think can turn things around for them. Just kidding. He goes the postseason twice. He takes the Browns to the playoffs. Do you understand how hard that is to do? And then he's outed because everything that we've heard, everything that's been reported is he's outed because he did not want Deshaun Watson. He gets Deshaun Watson, and in the end, it was a disaster to bring that quarterback in from Houston and trust that he could win. Yet Stefanski, in the midst of that, still goes to the postseason in 20. We're not that far removed from Kevin Stefanski taking the Cleveland Browns to the NFL playoffs. He walks into Cleveland and immediately goes 11-5, 8-9 in 2021, 7-10, and then 11-6. That 4-year span alone in Cleveland buys you as long of a leash as you want. He won a playoff game there. Finished second in the North in 2023. Went to the postseason in 2020. I haven't slept that many times since it. This is reminiscent. I went to a steakhouse last night, downtown Dallas. I love steak. And I'm doing the Google search. This place is 4.7 stars. I walk in the front door, and the first thing you'd like to see from your fancy steakhouse, I dress nicely, by the way. I'm here for work. I'm flying solo. I'll sit at the bar and have a steak. The worst thing you want to see is a TV in the corner. You're reminded the outside world exists. And it's playing soccer, like Morocco and Nigeria. It's 4-0, by the way. Like I just paid for I'm paying for a fancy dinner. I have Morocco, Nigeria. I have soccer on the TV, and the volume is up. I'm the only person in this steakhouse. Check the prices. I'm not getting out of here for less than $150. And this is one of those places I realized pretty quickly that your neighbors, remember the neighbors you didn't like across the street? They'd be like, yeah, we're going to so-and-so steakhouse tonight. We're treating ourselves. And you remember that one time in life that you won a free trip or you got a free steak or someone bought your meal, your company was like, hey, do you want this meal? And it was a banger. It was the first time you really got to experience, oh, that's what a nice restaurant's like. And you know in the back of your mind, your neighbors that are bragging about going to this steakhouse, they don't really care about the food. They care about, oh, I can afford that. Instantly knew that's what I was dealing with. Steak, bad. Potatoes, bad. Soccer blaring in my ear during the FCS National Championship, which I much rather would have been watching, bad. But you know what was good? Not the cut of meat. No. Not the twice-baked potato that was definitely microwaved. No. What was good about this was the steak seasoning. And the perfect medium rare. I could tell that somewhere back there in that kitchen, there was a chef. There was a human being who put their hands on this steak, who were all up in that meat, doing it right. Everything else was bad. The ownership, the ambiance, you could tell the lack of care, the lack of intentionality. Did you know? Here's your fact for the day. You bring this to work. Did you know that when Walt Disney was building Disney World, he would eat a hot dog on the park grounds and he would walk with the hot dog? The second the hot dog was gone, he would take the wrapper and put a trash can there. He would stand in that spot and say, okay, I need a trash can here. Because if someone goes to that hot dog stand and gets one of our dogs, they better have a spot to throw it away immediately, whatever direction they walk. That's the intentionality that Walt Disney brought to what he does. He's dead. That steakhouse, that chef, that guy probably did everything he could with a terrible piece of meat, a bad place to work, an ownership group that didn't care enough. But we've got 4.7 stars. And your really rude neighbors love to go there and brag about going to the steakhouse. So what do we need to change? We're the fancy steakhouse in Dallas. Kevin Stefanski's back there with a big old white chef's hat on, going, the waitress just peed on the steak. The waitress peed on the steak. All you've given me for the potatoes is a microwave. And also, for some reason, Deshaun Watson's doing the dishes. He's broken 4 of them. That's Kevin Stefanski. And the owner of the steakhouse says, wait a second. Here's what you all don't realize. While we want to mock as a 5-star Michelin star steakhouse, we're not really. And so let's go ahead and take the 5-star Michelin star guy, the chef, out of the kitchen because he's kind of making us look bad and he's making things complicated. We want to do this our way. We kind of want to suck. And thus, Kevin Stefanski, no longer the head coach of the Browns. The wrong guy was thrown away here. The wrong guy was discarded. The Atlanta Falcons, they cleaned house on Black Monday. Raheem Morris, no longer the head coach. Terry Fontenot, no longer the GM. Morris, 8-9 and then 8-9. He's 2 games below 500 in his tenure. But Arthur Blank said, I'm good. I'm out. If you want to count his record as the interim coach, you can. Fontenot, he's the Kirk Cousins guy, $100 million in guaranteed money, while also taking a quarterback with the first-round pick. Arthur Blank's sitting there going, guys, I billions of dollars. This team is so expensive, and you are just running it into the ground. What? Deshaun Watson's doing the dishes. Kirk Cousins is making the pastries, but they're paying Kirk Cousins $100 million to make the pastries. And the weird part is the pastries aren't that bad. He just only works 2 hours a shift. And so it doesn't make any sense to be where we are. Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, another man caught by Black Monday, started the season 2-0. Do you remember where you were? Do you remember where you sat when the Cardinals were 2-0? I thought I'm like this in the NFL. If I see a team start 0-3, hello Texans, start 2-0, I'm beginning to play out the scenario in which they go to the postseason. Okay, they lose another one, but they win another. Now the 3-1. 3-1 sounds super sexy. I'm buying the Cardinals now. Jonathan Gannon's the guy. Ooh, 15-36 in his 3 years, his 3 campaigns. Now they got to hire a head coach. and they have to figure out what to do with Kyler Murray. Is Kyler Murray the answer? Is he a Super Bowl caliber quarterback? Is he a playoff quarterback in Arizona? I don't think so. But Black Monday, nonetheless, comes for us all. Then there is Pete Carroll. The Raiders are moving on from Pete Carroll after a year, and they are going to pay $50 million or more in 2026 for fired coaches. Chip Kelly will get money from the Raiders in 2026. That is how bad of an organization this is right now. And I know Tom Brady's stepping in. He's going to fix it. Tom Brady's the savior of him. He's got a really good right arm, great at football, won all those Super Bowls. He can do this. But let's remember Pete Carroll in this. The surefire NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winning coach, who said, I'll take a chance and I'll go to Las Vegas. Could have stayed in Seattle, could have been an advisor in Seattle, could have just lived out his years there. I've been to Kirkland, I've been to Bellevue, I've been to downtown Seattle, I've seen the market. It's actually a really nice place. Snoqualmie, Snohomish. That's some deep track Washington knowledge right there. I've been there. You can just horse behind the barn, get it done with, hang out for a while. Snoqualmie Falls, beautiful. But he decides he wants to keep coaching. He pulled the Willie Mays. See, you remember Willie Mays as this great baseball player, the poster child, but say hey kid. And in his career with the New York Mets, here's what you don't remember about Willie Mays. Here's what we don't talk about enough with Willie Mays. By 1973, he was limping, stumbling into the outfield, barely hitting 200. The old dog had gotten too old. There was no new trick. Willie Mays was just not Willie Mays. We were watching a relic go out there. We were watching Phillip Rivers play quarterback, except it was Willie Mays on the diamond. This was heartbreaking. This was Michael Jordan Wizards, although Michael Jordan wasn't even that old or decrepit. There were just a lot of factors that went into Michael Jordan going from the greatest of all time to, oh yeah, that guy that plays for the Wizards. Whereas like a LeBron James career arc has just been, yeah, he's still LeBron. MJ, Willie Mays, Phillip Rivers in this conversation now. Got to the end of it, and you just thought, gosh, what are we still doing here? You could have, for shame, you could have hung it up and said goodbye. That is what Pete Carroll did. I don't think his legacy is going to be marred by this necessarily, but it was completely unnecessary for him to do. Completely unnecessary for him to go in 1 year to an organization that is churning out head coaches year after year. What is it, 4 or 5 guys now that will be on the payroll to not coach the Raiders in 2026? Black Monday comes for us all. The Bengals. Zach Taylor. Guess Black Monday spares some. Don't worry, we're a year away. Zach Taylor sticking with the organization for at least another season. Mike Brown came out, full confidence. Full confidence. They missed the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. You have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow took this team to a Super Bowl. Not a loaded team either. Joe Burrow takes you to a Super Bowl, and you have the opportunity to build pieces around a first-round elite quarterback. Quarterback that can be elite if he's healthy. And guess what? One of the reasons Joe Burrow has struggled to stay healthy is the lack of fortitude, the lack of protection, the lack of the lack of wall for him. And the Bengals, Zach Taylor, you're letting a great prime wither away. Wondering, well, when is this going to work itself out? Taylor will also keep his coordinators. You do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's the definition of insanity. And then Aaron Glenn. We'll talk a lot of Aaron Glenn today. Disaster class. One of the worst seasons in NFL history. Well, the Jets won 3 games. I know the Jets won 3 games. Analytically, one of the worst seasons in NFL history. The first team ever to finish a year without recording a single interception. If you are turning the radio on, if you're turning the TV on today, and you're not being told that once every 10 minutes, the hosts are failing you. The previous low was 7. 7. They managed 0. The Jets have not even been clear with what is next. They're just like, I don't know at this point. Hopefully we figure it out. Now there are quarterbacks that might not go into the draft. They may stay in college and make their NIL money just to not have to play for the Jets. And Joe Schoen will stay the GM for the Giants. Been there since 2022. Remember Hard Knocks, his son, telling him to draft Daniels? That didn't work out, did it? 22, 45, and 1. Schoen will hire the new coach. Okay. Yeah, likable enough on Hard Knocks, right? If that's the metric that we're going to go with, is, hey, America didn't hate him on Hard Knocks. If that's what makes a great GM. The Colts are dealing with it right now with Ballard as their GM. Hey, if people seem to kind of like him, if he's been here for a while, that's another organization keeping their head coach, their GM, the Indianapolis Colts, after bringing in Phillip Rivers and going from competing a surefire spot in the playoffs to gone, withered away. 2025 passes, and what did you earn for it? Nothing but the PR stamp of having Phillip Rivers as your quarterback for a little bit. Congrats, the grandpa. That was fun and nice until you missed the playoffs, until it did not work, until you did not win games. And that part sucks. Black Monday comes for us all. And Black Monday is coming for college football players. 4,000 of them have entered the transfer portal. 4,000 of them have quit their jobs and decided to find gainful employment elsewhere. A fourth of them, I'll say, this time next year, will have not played a snap of college football because they couldn't find a landing spot. That system is broken. The feeder system for the NFL needs serious, serious help. This is the Drake Toll Show.
I'll show you the life of the mind! Go on trial just for laughing at the joke, just for saying of the bargain what any sales girl already knows. Most of us old men die at the firing line, just waiting for our number to be called. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Now the king gets his stepson when he's loaded as a gun. Like I'm 22, you know I'm 305, tatted on my body, I got everybody in a job. Somebody hit the lights, camera, let me improvise. Can I get a hallelujah? More moolah, more peace for my medulla. The whole crew up, yeah. Louis Prada, Dundada, top flow, come take a ride up with the Prada. I came up from the bottom, you have no idea. You can't swipe through my story, write my name in history. Yeah, sing it, almost had
doors fly, open eye, reemerge from the side like a god. I'm talking real guap. 23, 45 with the rock. I'm a lot. I am not what they think. I like it dirty. I be filthy with the ricochet. She threw it at me. I hit it right down the straight away. Feel like somebody put a blue pill in my lemonade. I think that's how I ended up in the bay with this pain in my head. You know I came up from the bottom. You have no idea. You can't swipe through my store. No sir. Write my name in his store. Yeah, sing it. Almost had me down. Came back to life. Hell yeah, I'm doing right. Who's gonna stop me now? Hold on tonight. Yeah, I can't even lie. What a time to be alive. Drinks in the sky. Over the night. Yeah, sing it. Almost had me down. Came back to life. Hell yeah, I'm doing right. Who's gonna stop me now? Over the night. Yeah, I can't even lie. What a time to be alive. Drinks in the sky.
Yep.
Good morning. Drake Toll with you. The Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports. The day after Black Monday. I'm not done. I told you I was done. I told you I was going to go to a transfer portal conversation, and I will. Surely I will, but I'm not done with Black Monday. 310-840-4910. You don't have to be done either. 310-840-4910. You can call the show. Text the show. Now. The Drake Toll Show. That is. Black Monday is a really dour thing to speak of. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie a bow on Black Monday, and then we're going to play the best plays, the best clips from this weekend in the NFL, teams that made the playoffs based on these moves, these plays, these game-winning moments. And from there, we'll go into the transfer portal conversation. I just want to tell you that I am frustrated still. I didn't get it all out. I'm frustrated still at the Cleveland Browns and what they did. Here is what their owner had to say about moving on from Kevin Stefanski.
And I want you to hear this, okay? First of all, ownership takes full responsibility for where we are. To win 8 games in 2 years is horrible. It's totally unacceptable, okay? And it's not going to continue, okay? And I want the fans to know we are as frustrated as you are.
Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. He is as frustrated as you are. Now, yes, he's got a couple $2 billion. He's doing okay. When he goes to the steakhouse, there's not soccer playing in the corner. There's no TV in the steakhouse he's going to. But Jimmy Haslam, he understands you. He gets it. No one is more frustrated than the ownership. This is on them. If it's on you, Haslam family, then why is Kevin Stefanski the one being fired? Why is Kevin Stefanski the guy who went to the postseason twice as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, first person to do this since the 90s? You understand, I wasn't alive. And that's what we're talking about here. A coach who has done something for the Cleveland Browns since before I was alive. And he's fired today. And then the rest of the league collectively that is missing a head coach said, great, that means we'll just hire him. Thank you for giving us the next Mike Vrabel. And then insert good head coach here. Kevin Stefanski, best of luck wherever he is next season as a head coach, because he will almost assuredly be a head coach. Now, this is it is a more positive conversation, unless you're a fan of the teams that lost. This last weekend Ravens, Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, Bucks, Panthers. Those were the games that I had my eyes specifically on for how they would shape the postseason. We talked about it a lot yesterday. We did not talk enough, in my opinion, about 49ers and Seahawks, and we will the rest of this week. Bucks, Panthers, and we will the rest of this week. But certainly the story of Monday, Steelers and Ravens, and the final play from that game from Ryan Radke on Westwood One.
He has not missed from inside 50 yards. This will be a 44-yard attempt. It will come from the middle of the field. It's for the division. Loop is ready. Here's the snap, the spot. The kick is on the way. It is no good. He missed it. It's wide to the right. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have won the division. The Steelers are going to the playoff.
10.
Tyler Loop missed it wide right. And the Steelers have won the game 26-24. Pittsburgh wins the AFC North. They will go to the playoffs.
Steelers fans, that's real. That happened. You woke up today, and it is 6:26 Eastern time. You woke up today, got in your car to go work the coal mine, and that was real. That occurred on Sunday. You're going to the playoffs. Now you got to deal with the Texans defense, but you're going to the postseason. You're going to host a playoff game, and you have the opportunity at Acrisure Stadium, Acrisure Field, to go watch your team play this weekend, which is on Monday, actually, which is not a spot I necessarily thought the Steelers would be in this year. Mike Tomlin always finds a way, but he always finds a way to screw it up. It seems this year they won their play-in for the playoff. The Steelers are going the postseason. 49ers, Seahawks, the bye on the line. Here is the play that clinched it 13-3 for Seattle.
Fourth down and the ball game for San Francisco. 6 yards to go from their own 24, trailing by 10. 1:55 left. Purdy in the gun. Shotgun snap. 4-man rush. 5 of the pattern in as he throws. Right side. Incomplete. The Seahawks stand. Seattle is back on top of the NFC West. Seahawks 13, 49ers 3. For the first time in 11 years, Seattle is the number 1 seed. 14 wins to earn a first-round bye. And now only 3 more separate the Seahawks from their second Super Bowl ring in franchise history.
The very same year that Pete Carroll loses his job as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks are back as the 1 seed in the NFC. They will play the winner of the Rams and the Panthers. And speaking of those Panthers, it was Carolina and Tampa Bay, this game in Tampa. And I this is a fun little anecdote. In Banana Ball, in working for the Savannah Bananas and doing play-by-play in their organization, we get to play in some of the most interesting venues in the country. In Clemson and their football stadium, 81,000 people. We played in Carolina at their football stadium at US Bank Field. And then we got to go to Tampa and Raymond James and put a baseball field on the football stadium. And it's one of the coolest places to go. When Tom Brady was the quarterback there, they would bring in these not faux bleachers, but portable bleachers and put them up so that more fans could see Tom Brady play. It's one of the most interesting and electric venues in the NFL. I really do believe that. It has hosted the Super Bowl, so it's got to have some sort of, got to be up to snuff somehow. That said, this game was dumping rain. The officials were questionable at best, particularly against the Panthers. I thought that overall, it was just a funky game. Chris Fowler was on the call. Overall funky game. And ultimately, the final call of the Bucks sealing it to win the game.
Bryce Young with a shotgun snap. Tampa bringing 3. Thrown over the middle. Caught ball. Lateral back. McMillan at the 40. Running left side. Throws it back again to an offensive lineman who dropped the football. Tampa Bay will recover. And this one is over. Week 18 Saturday belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Final score, Tampa Bay 16, Carolina 14. The Bucs are cheering for the Saints tomorrow. If the Saints knock off the Falcons or tie, Bucs would be division champions. If the Falcons win tomorrow, then the Panthers would be division champions. We go to Week 18 Sunday in the NFC South.
Ooh. Oh, Baker Mayfield and company, you couldn't have just done a little bit more. Atlanta Falcons and company, you couldn't have done just a little bit more. 3 teams in the South with the exact same record, all 3 below 500 at 8-9. The Panthers sit and watch the Saints play the Falcons in Atlanta, and because the now fired Raheem Morris gets it done, because Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson march to victory. The Bucs go from winning a game 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later. They learn they will not be in the playoff. And instead, the Panthers will host the Rams. And a lot of people, I'm hearing the noise. I'm turning my TV on. I'm turning my radio on. By the way, your radio's on right now. Drake Toll with you. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app on the Drake Toll Show. And they're telling me that the Panthers shouldn't host a playoff game. This format is built because not every division is made the same. And you're wondering if sometimes the NFC North is a little too competitive. You're wondering sometimes if the NFC West is too competitive. What if the AFC East one year is too competitive, and you still need to get a team in from that division because the division is so good. The teams are beating each other up, and they all finished 9-8. They all finished 8-8. They all finished 10-6, and they couldn't find a spot into the postseason. That it's just not working in the favor of how the model was supposed to go. And on paper, the Panthers-Rams seems like a mismatch because it is. Because it is. And I know Carolina has one of the biggest upsets maybe of the whole year over the Rams. This is a playoff team. You made the postseason. You get to host a playoff game. Did you earn that, or did you limp to that because somebody in the South not only gets to go, but gets to host a postseason game in the wild card? It's the first time the Panthers have hosted a playoff game since the NFC Championship in 2016. We are 10 years removed from the Panthers hosting a playoff game. Then Packers and Bears, the Bears at the 2 seed, Bills, Jaguars, 49ers, Eagles, Chargers, Patriots, Texans, and Steelers. That's that standalone Monday night game, 2 weeks in a row. Steelers fans get to see their team play on ABC with the world watching. Whereas the Rams have to fly to Carolina, play at 1:30 Pacific time, 1:30 mental clock time against the Panthers team that is 8-9, and a Rams team that is led by who I think will be the MVP in Matthew Stafford. I'm going to stand by that. We're going to have that conversation again tomorrow on why Stafford is the MVP over Drake May and why I'm not buying me. It's, what is it? I think the Raiders beat the same number of teams above 500 as the Patriots. And I don't think it's a strength of schedule award, but I do think Matthew Stafford, the MVP, is going to march into Carolina and get a win against the Panthers. The Packers and the Bears, that standalone game on Prime Video. Hope you've got the subscription. I learned yesterday I'm subscribed to 6 different streaming services to watch the NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, and God knows the MLB is a mess. The Bills and the Jags opening your Sunday just to go into 49ers and Eagles. And guess what? Kevin Harlan is going to join the show, the Drake Toll Show, today and give you the case why the Eagles could win the Super Bowl again and why the Eagles should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl until proven otherwise. Then the Chargers, who purposely wanted the Patriots. Please give us New England in this postseason. We really want to play New England. They're going to get them. 8 o'clock on Sunday, and that Texans-Steelers matchup, the aforementioned. This is NFL postseason, and I think this is an NFL postseason for the ages, where it's not Matt Schaub and the Texans, where it's not Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, where it's still Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. You get that star power. It's not Peyton Manning and the Broncos, Brock Osweiler and the Broncos. It is not Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. It's not Tom Brady and the Patriots. You're seeing some of these logos in the AFC that we've watched go to the playoffs, but they're different. They're built different. The Seattle Seahawks is not Russell Wilson. It's not Cam Newton and the Panthers. There's this changing of the guard. There is a clear changing of the guard. That's another thing that Kevin Harlan will hit on when we ask him whether or not the NFC and AFC playoffs have shaken out in a way that is conducive to the fans watching the games. Because if you are hearing people on Twitter and you're hearing people on TV and on the radio tell you these playoffs aren't as good, this postseason is not as good because Patrick Mahomes isn't there, tell them not to watch. Tell them not to watch the games then. Fine. Don't put that on me. I'm going to watch these games. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to love exactly what the NFL has built in a chaotic 2025-26. And if someone is telling you it lacks star power and less people will watch, you tell them then don't watch. More space for me. Around the corner. Buckle those seatbelts. I hope you're already buckled up, by the way. 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910. You can join the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One app. We're talking biggest losers of the day, and the AFC West will lead it off. That division did something historic this weekend in a very bad way. What was it? This is the Drake Toll Show.
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on Sikkim 365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
StreamYard crowd. I can call room service and ask for a Yoo-hoo. It's a free country. It's a free country.
They're gonna think it's like Kevin McAllister, like a 10-year-old in the hotel.
My chocolate water.
Yes, it's chocolate water.
Just enhanced milk, you know?
No, it's not. It's not milk. It's chocolate water. It really is.
Curtis,
Ovaltine. Anyone remember Ovaltine?
Oh, yeah, of course. The Christmas story.
Live today.
So excited for me to just blow it again.
Dead or alive, Curtis?
I'm alive.
Hey, Curtis. It's 6.
I sit in a hotel room, Dallas, Texas, overlooking the skyline, thinking how blessed are we, how grateful we should be, how beautiful a time as this, that the sports brand Westwood won. Kevin, Harlan, Iron Eagle, Ryan Radke, a list of names that have carried this brand since the early times. That Westwood One now has 24/7 radio, and that at 4:42 Mountain Time, as you sit in Orem, Utah, you can listen to the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One app. There's a Christmas tree outside. The train passes by. Quintessential winter in Dallas. It's 76 degrees. There's something about this time of year. There is something about this point that we get to in sports where it just feels different. It just means more. Coaches being fired, players entering the college transfer portal, NFL teams clinching their berths to the playoffs. What more could you wish for? What more could you want? And then you turn your radio on. You open your Westwood One app. You go to your YouTube and you input Drake Toll Show. And now you have this, where you and I gather every morning on weekdays, and we talk about the biggest storylines, but not just the biggest storylines, the storylines you're missing. Like, I bet you didn't see Montana State win the FCS National Championship last night, did you? Yeah? They blocked the game-winning field goal to send it to overtime against Illinois State. There, they blocked an extra point. Then on 4th and 10, scored a touchdown, made an extra point of their own, 35-34. Congrats to Montana State. Not a lot of folks talking about that today, huh? Not a lot of folks telling you Kevin Stefanski is a chef, a Michelin star chef in a restaurant built for children. And now he got fired for it. Not enough people are telling you Pete Carroll is really just Willie Mays. Gets to the end of his career and he's limping out there saying, I can still do it, guys. Come on, I can still do it. When he should have just retired in Kirkland, Washington and let time pass him by. But that is what you get. On 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910, the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll with you, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Time for our biggest losers. Addie Bates produces the Drake Toll Show. Curtis Poindexter runs the board in Culver City, California. Addie, biggest loser of the day, number one. I'm going to let you attack this one because you brought the stat to my attention, and floored is not the right word. This is one of those Jets don't get an interception. Broncos, Chargers, 19-3 is the final score. Chiefs, Raiders, 14-2 is the final score. The AFC West, despite those points, despite what, 46 points That's quick math right there. Despite 46 points, 0 offensive touchdowns on Sunday, Addie. That is bad.
It's really funny when you consider that some of these teams are going to be in the postseason. So yes, Broncos versus Chargers. So the Broncos won 19-3. The only touchdown in the game was a 45-yard interception return for a touchdown. Not even offensive touchdown. But then when you look at the Raiders and the Chiefs, the Raiders won 14-12, and this game set a record for most combined field goals in a game without a touchdown. So if I'm one of these teams heading into the postseason, I'm a little concerned. Are you not?
That leads to this question. Do you care? Because, Addie, we've learned there are a lot of teams that get to the final week of the regular season. This is a big loser stat. These are very big losers for not scoring an offensive touchdown at all in an entire division over the weekend. Do you factor in the idea that a lot of these teams have given up on purpose before they go to the postseason or before they end and go to Cancun?
I mean, one of these games was Raiders versus Chiefs. Like, they were done. They were done before the game even started. Yes, they're playing in Cancun. But if I'm one of those teams, like, hey, maybe kind of give it your all one last game. You're not doing anything else next week. Like, you're done. You're going to be with your family. Don't you actually want to play a football game? Like, I know nothing means anything because you've been done if you're the Chiefs since like 5 weeks ago. But I still feel like you should probably give a little something out there. I know that's a hot take. But if you're the Broncos and the Chargers, yes, maybe I understand it. You want to rest your guys. I mean, trust me. We've talked about that ad nauseum with the Chargers. They got to rest their guys because all they have is Justin Herbert. They have no one else. They got to rest them.
It's sad that they're allowing an NFL team to play with just one player. And I have said that multiple times this season. The idea of the Chargers ownership, their general manager, only wants them to play with just Justin Herbert and nobody else. Travesty to the sport. Addie, I'll loop you into this one too. Mike Tomlin comes to the podium for the Steelers this week, and after his game against the Ravens, gives an all-time soundbite when the question is posed, what if Baltimore had made that game-winning kick? Here's the sound.
Season's over, comes to a screeching halt, missing that kick and the winner going on.
You know how it is. If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
Yep, Mike Tomlin just dropped you. If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle. While we could give Tomlin the biggest loser for doing the thing that your grandpa does, where he says the thing, you go, Grandpa. No, we cannot say that anymore. We should not say that. The true biggest loser in this is the Steelers PR guy who's sitting in the corner. I've been in these press conferences, and the one that stands out the most is Kim Mulkey. I would be in a press conference with Kim Mulkey, and I would ask a question. I'd say, Coach, you win by 25 points. Kalani Brown has 30 rebounds today. What are your thoughts? And she'd give you we're excited. We feel good about this team. We feel all right. And then one time at a press conference, I asked her, I said, Kim, the football team's winning. They won the Sugar Bowl. The men's basketball team's number 5 in the country, I think. The volleyball team goes to the Final Four. What are your thoughts on how success breeds success? Rising tide lifts all boats. It's a great question. I'll give myself that's a great question. And she goes, listen. And as soon as she said listen, the SID jumps out of his chair. Their director of PR, Kim Mulkey's handler, jumps out of his chair. He's like, oh, I know it's coming. And she goes, I've been winning here a long time. Whole lot longer than those four. We don't need them to win for us to win. Their success has nothing to do with me winning because I win. I was like, oh, that's not good. PR guy gets in the middle of the room. He tells the reporters, please strike that answer from the press conference and see you guys later. Press the red button. Kim Mulkey walks off the stage. It's a very hard job to do. Can we hear it again, Curtis? Give it to me again, please.
Season's over, comes to a screeching halt, missing that kick and the winner going on.
You know how it is. If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
Yep, that's one of those moments where the PR guy, the sports information director, stands up and goes, okay, everybody. And that was Mike Tomlin. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and move on. This way, Mike Tomlin, we apologize for that. Please strike it from the record. Addie, your thoughts on Mike Tomlin's my aunt, male parts uncle.
I think the thing about Mike Tomlin is you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get from him. I mean, he has
life
given
is
some
like
of
a box
the
of Mike Tomlin.
quotes.
Is that what you're saying here?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. To quote the great Forrest Gump, But I mean, come on. I mean, you have to think about this situation right now. In the other opposing locker room right now, you have Loop being interviewed. Hey, what happened with that missed kick? What happened? And I've seen the interviews. He was very composed, but I mean, this poor guy was walking to the locker room with Harbaugh, like holding him. He's crying. He just like cost the team this season. And then you have Mike Tomlin on the other hand, like, you know how it is. My aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle. I mean, that's just, it's a Mike Tomlin all-timer.
It would be doubly insane had they asked Tyler Loop, Tyler, what if that kick goes in? And he just gives you, man, if my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle. Now that, we would have had to create a new segment for biggest winner of the day. If in response to Mike Tomlin one day, Tyler Loop can sit back and laugh about his, he will never laugh about the missed kick, but his situation. Another biggest loser on the Drake Toll show today, the Dallas Cowboys. I told you I sit in Dallas right now. I'm looking out the window at the train passing by, the Christmas tree that is still up, the beauty of the skyline in Dallas. It's the heart of college football, the Cotton Bowl. It is the heart of America in many ways. It's where you fly to connect to wherever else you're going. If you're flying from Savannah, Georgia to Butte, Montana, you have to go through Dallas. If you are flying from Philadelphia, trying to get to Carson City, you're going to have to fly through Dallas. And I hope you don't have to stop here too long because you might be plagued by the Dallas Cowboys defense. One of the worst defenses in the history of the National Football League. Let me read this for you. The Dallas Cowboy, singular, per Aaron Schatz. Sorry, I was focused on the last name. It's a real last name, and it's not funny. The Dallas Cowboys finished with the number 4 worst defense per Aaron Schatz. That's at A Schatz NFL on Twitter, by the way. SCHATZ. The Dallas Cowboys finished with the number 4 worst defense in the history of DVOA. The Cincinnati Bengals were on the list for much of the season, but improved in December. One of the worst defenses. 1978 is when we started tracking this. Dallas was historically bad. 7-9-1 this year, 22.5% in their DVOA, which to put it in layman's terms, you're wondering what does that mean? It means bad. Historically bad. Top 10 worst defense of all time, bad. And then yesterday, Jerry Jones says, hey, we're going to give it a day. Everybody else does Black Monday. Everybody else is already on the phone with their possible new coordinators, with their possible new head coaches. And I do not think that Dallas needs a head coaching change. But Jerry said everybody else is making money moves right now. We're going to take it easy for a second. We're going to do some player exit interviews. Jerry's in his helicopter right now above this hotel, just swirling it, sitting there with Dak Prescott saying, all right, how do you feel? What do we do? Where do you want to go from here? He doesn't want to jump. He doesn't want to jump too fast on, maybe firing Eberflus, the worst defensive coordinator in the NFL analytically right now. And then our final biggest loser today, Paul Davis. Paul Davis played basketball at Michigan State. And this week, last night, in a game against USC, 67-46 is the score, 6:04 to go in the second half. The officiating crew stops the game. They go into the stands to Paul Davis. They come to Tom Izzo and say, we can't keep handling this guy. We have to kick him out. Izzo says, fine, get him out of here. So they send Paul Davis to the land of shadow and flame, and camera catches Tom Izzo yelling across the court at Paul Davis, what the F are you doing? Biggest loser, Paul Davis. Don't go back to your alma mater and make a fool of yourself, get kicked out of the basketball games. That is a bad thing to do. Coming up, a good thing to do is keep it right here on the Drake Toll Show. Obituaries are up next. Who is dead now? This is the Drake Toll Show.
She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone was all she'd ever be. I didn't think that she'd leave me after saying how much she need me. But the fact still remains, I'm sitting there all alone, missing the loving of my baby. Lord, it's about to drive me crazy. She was the sweetest piece of ever I've ever known. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone was all she'd ever be. As I walk through that valley of honky-tonks and bars, I remember how she'd hold me, comfort me with talk. She didn't cuss with every breath. She had a soothing southern drawl, made me feel like a man through it all. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me.
Since later.
Been traveling these wide roads for so long.
Yep.
My heart's been far from you, 10,000 miles gone. Oh, I want to come here and give every part of me, but there's blood on my hands, and my lips are unclean. In my darkness, I remember Mama's words reoccur to me. Surrender to the good Lord. and to wipe your slate clean. Take me to your river. I wanna go.
Leon Bridges bringing you back to the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One and the Westwood One Sports app. Shout out to Mike in Baltimore for listening today. I forget sometimes. I need to have trigger warnings on these things. When we go back and we recap the weekend, we go back, we talk about Steelers and Ravens, or we talk about 49ers, Seahawks, the Bucks, and the Panthers, that the fans out there, those who matter and mean the most, that are reeling with the pain of the weekend, reeling with the idea that their team is done. Lamar Jackson will not play another game in 2025 or 26. I guess he'll play in the fall. Reeling with that this weekend, that you're real, you're sentient beings. Touch yourself. You're existing right now in your car, you're at work, you're taking your kids to school, you're driving the bus, your AirPods are in while you're operating the bus, which is illegal. Your CDL will be revoked. Mike in Baltimore, thanks for listening. He just tweeted at me and was very clear that, hey, there's some pain in replaying that Baltimore-Pittsburgh clip from Westwood One, by the way. It was a really good call from Radke and Company from Sunday night, deciding who goes to the postseason. With that, here on the Drake Toll Show, Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, play-by-play, as well as college football kickoff on Amazon Fire TV and Locked On Big 12, bringing you our obituaries. Obituary number 1. The weirdest stat of all time that has to do with the Carolina Panthers will die. There it is. We have the gong in there. Yeah, no doubt. It elevates it. Listen to this. Bring this to your cocktail party. 2002-2003. That football season. Ohio State, national champions. Panthers have a losing record. This is 0-2. The Panthers open the next season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jennifer Lopez files for divorce from Chris Judd, and the Panthers make the Super Bowl. So what happened was Ohio State wins the national championship in the Panthers' losing season in 0-2. 0-3, the Panthers open it up with Jacksonville. Jennifer Lopez gets a divorce. Panthers make the Super Bowl. 2014, Ohio State wins the national championship. The Panthers have a losing record. 2015, the Panthers open with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guess what? Jennifer Lopez files for divorce from Mark Anthony. Not that Mark Anthony, the newer one. And in 2015, the Panthers make the Super Bowl. Hold on to your seats. 2024, Ohio State wins the national championship. The Panthers have a losing record. This season, you bet. The Panthers opened against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jennifer Lopez files for divorce from Ben Affleck. Will the Panthers make the Super Bowl? No. This tradition is now dead at the age of 23. The Panthers will not make the Super Bowl this year. Their obituary is for a season where they squeaked out, yes, a win against the Rams, but won't do it again. They're 9.5-point underdogs and at home against the future MVP, Matthew Stafford. That is our first obituary. The second, let's say goodbye. Dead today, of infinite years old, sending death threats to people. Good, Curtis. Good. This is on a scale of 1 to good, bad. Tyler Loop, immediately after missing that kick, began to get death threats. His last, which this is, men, can I give you a piece of advice? Women, anyone who is listening to this, a piece of advice. Ensure that if you're going to do a possibly very risky public thing, like, I don't know, miss a field goal that would send your NFL team to the playoffs or would send them to future playoff games, would win them around. If you're going to do that, make sure that your last post isn't a post of you and your fiance or you and your wife. That will just, here it comes. And there it is for Tyler Loop. A lot of people in that comment section telling him to do very bad things to himself. Cancel the wedding. Hope it doesn't work out. Hope it rains on your wedding day. Those are some of the nicer one. One says, yo, girl, you got the worst kicker in the league. That's kind of funny, actually. That I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow that mean comment, actually. The rest of them, let today be the death date of threatening football players that don't rise to the occasion the moment you want them to during the NFL season. And our final obituary of the day, Dolphins quarterback. No, let me rephrase this. Tua Tagovailoa, not dead. Tua Tagovailoa as the Dolphins quarterback. When asked if he was open to playing elsewhere in 2026, getting a fresh start, he was pretty candid. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all, actually. The Mike McDaniel experience has not exactly worked out well for Tua, even though McDaniel was the one that said, hey, I trust you and you're my quarterback. And remember when Tua said he's the first head coach, the first coach I've had to look me in the eyes and say, I trust you, you're my guy, go with your gut, do it. Ooh. Mike McDaniel, I am still in his camp. If you're a Dolphins fan and you're over this, you're done with this, he's of the right coaching tree. And by the way, you cannot consider somebody to be an offensive genius, to have a knack, to have like an extra brain. He has double the brain size of any other human being when it comes to football. And then a couple years later, be like, hey, just kidding, not a good coach anymore, doesn't have the genius. Maybe, just maybe, the organization that has been perennially bad has deeper issues than the head coach. Hello, Browns and Kevin Stefanski as well. But now Tua, who, if you're wondering, was a turnover machine this year, has been injury prone, no doubt, over the course of his career, is looking for a possible restart somewhere else. It's a miracle the Dolphins finished 7-10. It was not a good year for Tua Tagovailoa. 2,600 yards, 15 interceptions this year. He was sacked 30 times as well. The Dolphins have some dudes. They've got some horses in the stable. I'm not so sure Tua is one of them. Addy, before we get to the quickie on the Drake Toll Show, does this mean that Texas legend Quinn Ewers is the new starting quarterback?
I'm actually so glad that you read it just as I typed it. Yes, it is time for Finn Ewers, a legend. Let's go.
Gross. I don't think so. Those are our obituaries today. Let us say goodbye. Today is the death date of the single weirdest Super Bowl happenstances. Thank you, Jennifer Lopez, for 3 divorces now on years the Panthers go to the Super Bowl. Let's say goodbye to death threats to college or NFL players of any type. And let's say goodbye, very likely, to Tua Tagovailoa as the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Probably best for both sides to move on. It is time for the quickie on the Drake Toll Show. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Good to have you. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Addy Bates, how does the game work?
I'm going to read you 5 headlines. We're going to get to 5 today, no matter if you like it or not. We're going to get to 5, and you're just going to react to
5
them. It could be from any sport.
I won't take that slant.
We did. So, we're almost at a streak here.
Yes.
We just need like two more here. All right, here we go. Headline number 1. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss. Not from Trinidad, actually. Not from Trinidad, if you didn't know that.
True.
Plans to return. Wow. Pending NCAA ruling on eligibility.
Yeah, I think that this is a lesson in loyalty that a lot of college players can now learn. You got guys that are going to take the bag. If you're going to make the $1 million more somewhere else, I know $1 million's a lot of dollars. So let's say $500,000 more somewhere else. You're going to cost yourself that in the draft. That could be an issue. If I'm a GM, if I'm an owner, a head coach, and I need a quarterback, I'm looking at Trinidad Chambliss and what he's doing for Ole Miss as a guy who is humble and loyal. He walked in as the backup this year to Austin Simmons and then worked his way into a starting role, became one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, and now has signed on to stay at Ole Miss despite the lack of Lane Kiffin. He'll be under Pete Golding, the new head coach for the Rebels. Like what Trinidad Chambliss is doing, the big question mark is, will the NCAA grant him eligibility for next season? The answer to that is still up in the air.
Beautiful. Let's stay in college football for a second. You touched on this earlier, but we're going to keep talking about it. Montana State. Let's see if you catch that. Montana State beat Illinois State 35-34 in an overtime thriller for the first national title since 1984.
Yeah, I watched this game. I'm a fiend. Where there is football, I will find it. I will surely sniff it out. And Montana State is up 28-14 The number 2 team in the country, Illinois State, upset North Dakota State. You guys know that name. Earlier this year, they were unseeded in this 24-team playoff bracket. Unseeded. The top 16 teams get a number by their name. Illinois State was not in that. They had 4 losses in the regular season. This was a true Cinderella run. They're down 14. They work their way back. It's 28-28. And then they go to kick the game-winning field goal inside of a minute to go. It is blocked. Returned by Montana State into like the 35. They're pushing field goal range. Illinois State gets back-to-back sacks. We go to overtime. Illinois State scores almost immediately, but then the extra point is blocked. They've had, I think the number was 7 kicks blocked this year, which is a crazy stat. The Jets would never have 7 kicks blocked this season in football. But Illinois State did. Montana State then on 4th down and 10, shot to the end zone, touchdown and OT, extra point good. Congratulations to Montana State, the Bobcats. I watched this game, FCS National. Why does it matter? Why do you care? Why will you hear it on the Sports Minute today, wherever you're listening? Because of 2 things. A, football, so you should care. B, national championship football, so it's even more reason to care. Congrats to Montana State.
Talk about basketball for a second. We haven't done that today. Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr was ejected, and star guard Curry was ejected. He fouled out. He fouled out, and the team's 103-102 loss to the LA Clippers on Monday night, so last night, and it was crazy if you've seen some of the replays or if you saw it live.
Yes, my favorite part of this is Snoop Dogg. he was on the call as this happened. Steve Kerr seemed very violent in this moment, which was interesting. I'm all for. I'm a Steve Kerr supporter. I'm a Steve Kerr stan. I'm cool with it. The guy's been. I like tenure in head coaches. I like Steve Kerr. I like Steve Kerr. I like what I like even more is Snoop Dogg being on the call for him getting ejected and the physicality. It was a hold him back moment for the Warriors and Kerr. I like the viral clip on Twitter. I don't think they're very good this year. The Warriors are 500 right around there. I don't think they're very good, but credit to Steve Kerr for it points to him for arguing today. That's a minute.
If you want to talk about teams who were pretty good but have had recent downfall,
the Arizona Cardinals
Thunder baffle NBA. SGA and the Thunder baffle NBA fans with recent slide amid blowout loss to LaMelo and the Hornets.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. This was one of those I did not transparently watch with my own 2 eyes as somebody who's still in football mode and getting my NBA from mostly Twitter. SGA and company falling to when they lost to the Trailblazers, I was confused. I had questions. That's a throw open your mouth moment. And now things are getting still not serious. The Trailblazers, they lost to Phoenix. It was San Antonio that lost the Trailblazers. When they lost to Phoenix, it was a big question mark, throw up in my mouth. Losing to Charlotte, but losing 124-97. We say it in baseball. The game on July 2nd matters just as much as the game on September 3rd. In the NBA, the game on January 4th or 5th matters just as much as the game that you play on April 10th. This loss to the Thunder is a bad loss. A lot of basketball to be played. They still have 30 wins, way faster than anybody else, and they're going to win the conference.
Drake Toll with multiple baseball references this morning?
Yep. Shout out Willie Mays.
Wow. Okay, I'm proud. All right, final headline here. Bengals coach fumes over referee's decision to stop play after Myles Garrett's record-breaking sack.
2 points here. 1, total cheese. I get it. Zach Taylor's right. I'm in. I love it. We stopped play for this. Let's in a moment we're like, hey, we want to go win the game. And the refs are like, no. Flowers to this guy. Second point will be if you're Michael Strahan going, I want my sack back. You're looking at Brett Favre going, I want my sack back. You owe me a sack. Myles Garrett just did this in 100 less snaps than those guys. Oh, it's 17 games. And Michael Strahan, I hold the 16-game record. Yeah, I get that, but not all records are the same. Records are made to be broken. And if you look at the details of this one, anybody not giving flowers to Garrett for the record, you're not looking at this correctly. And it's not even that you need to be a sports progressive. You need to be new school about this. Let's just be honest. If he has 100 less snaps and he breaks the sack record, that's still really good. We can still give him his flowers for doing so. I don't like stopping the game. Celebrate it afterward. It's a big moment, no doubt, but let's play on.
I mean, Myles Garrett, though, pretty good player.
Yes.
Pretty good player.
I would consider myself a decent radio host. We don't stop the show every day for 30 seconds just to acknowledge that.
So would you say that for Alex Ovechkin, when he broke the record, they shouldn't have stopped the game?
I think records are different. This is where when Aaron Judge
breaking sack.
Like we've got time. There's also a stoppage in those, a natural stoppage after goals or touchdowns or home runs. I'm not. I can't budge on this one. I can't budge on this one. I'm stuck.
No, I know it's fair. No, it is fair. No, it's fair. I'm just trying to be contrarian here. I know. I definitely agree. I mean, it's great. Congratulations. We can wait until after.
Did call you contrarian Addie Bates in high school, which is crazy. Not a nickel for the amount of people that I accidentally know that you went to high school with. Have 2 nickels, not a lot. Wild, it happened twice. That's the quickie here on the Drake Toll Show. Top 5 headlines of the day. And Garrett is the defensive player of the week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Myles Garrett, that guy. Coming up, 310-840-4910. You get in on the action with Robinhood. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears. We'll put that on the back burner for a bit before we hear from Kevin Harlan. And college football transfer portal is a serious problem. Here's how to fix it on the Drake Toll Show.
Our naked bodies go on trial just for laughing at the joke, just for saying of the bargain what any sales girl already knows. Most of us old men die at the firing line, just waiting for our number to be called. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Now the king gets his stepson when he's loaded as a gun. Says a real man is like a country. You need a map to find your one. Now I do you suppose you must approach the throne with its back up against the wall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. The greatest minds of my generation, glad they conscripted in the war of defending any Goliath that would deign darken the door. Now with your genius for picking battles, it's no wonder every helmet is too small. I guess time just makes fools of us all. I guess time just makes fools of us all. My drink is watered down. The champ is on his knees. He lost the rematch. He lost the comeback. He lost for charity. But that's the job What gets the asses in the hall? They came for a beating, and he came to brawl. Serve your client notice that of all the young gods I have known, yours is easily the least famous to turn down the cover of a Rolling Stone. Lily white faces, so familiar and yet impossible to recall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. After a millennia of good times, God said, hey now, let's have a dream where we raise the stakes a little. Come on, let's make things interesting. Parachute into the Anthropocene, an amnesiac, a himbo Kendall. I guess time does make fools of us all.
Yeah. You're up.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, play-by-play, Locked On Big 12 podcast. Fire TV's college football kickoff on Amazon. And it's time to have a very real, very serious conversation, you and myself, about what is ruining college football, what is ruining the pipeline to the NFL, what is ruining the game that I love, what is hurting all of us. BYU to Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, Florida State, Stanford. Everyone is dealing with this. Can you imagine being a linebacker? I want you to imagine being a linebacker. You're playing football for a living. You go to college. You're a sophomore in college. Just imagine being a sophomore in college and getting $4 million. Ching! That's what's happening to some of these kids now in the transfer portal. But what else is happening is players are being left off the table left and right. Their football careers are done. They're being thrown to the wayside. Here is why. Here is what's happening. There are examples like a BYU. They're doing things correctly. There are these schools like Indiana and Texas Tech that are retaining the players they have and then going to the portal to rebuild what they need to rebuild. Like Indiana getting Josh Hoover, the TCU quarterback, to be their new quarterback to try to compete next season. The problem is there is not a set of checks and balances to ensure that the players are safe, the donors are safe, the university is safe, that all of these different entities are safe in this game. If you are a fan of so-and-so freshman player, man, I love DJ Lagway at Florida. I think he's going to be a great Gator and go on to the NFL and do incredible things. I am imploring you, when your child looks you in the eyes and says, for Christmas, I want a DJ Lagway jersey, you do not do it, because odds are very high you're going to waste a ton of money on that jersey and it will hit the shelf as used goods in 2 months when that kid enters the transfer portal. It's happening left and right. But here's one of the weirdest things that is occurring in the transfer portal now that is throwing the entire system for a loop. Players leaving their schools because they are forced out, or players disagreeing with the offer their school tries to give them and forcing themselves out. I'm going to get to that a bit more in depth in a second. But I want to remind you, there are nearly 4,000 human people in the transfer portal. A third of college football has decided they do not want to go back to their respective universities. Imagine if in the NFL, every player could just say, yeah, I don't want to play here anymore. And without restriction, I'm going to play somewhere else that I choose for a salary figure that also I choose and can agree on with the school. This reminds me of when I went to prom my senior year in high school. Valonia, Arkansas, population 4,000. And a lot of that population, women, the ladies. We had far more ladies at our school than we did guys. It's the best. You're a small town, 17-year-old, 18-year-old Valonia, Arkansas kid. You're like, yeah, man, heck yeah. But then prom would come around. And that's when the girls, ravenous, they're looking like, okay, who can I go to prom with? I don't want to miss prom. I'm not going alone. I'm not doing the whole, I'm going with my friends. I'm going to prom with my friend. No, this is traditional old school Arkansas. If you're going to prom, you're going to prom with a guy. But here's the problem. And I was part of the problem. I didn't like the girls at Valonia. I looked around. I was like, a couple of them are cute. But the town over. Oh, you go to BB, Arkansas. Wow. Something about it, right? There's just these good old farm gals that, man, they'd be great to take to your prom. I was part of the problem. My buddy Austin found a girl from Rosebud, took her to prom. My buddy Luke, girlfriend from Greenbrier, took her to prom. Me, I had Avery, she's from BB, took her to prom. The Valonia girls all looking around going, hey, we're already at a deficit here. We already don't have enough guys to go around at this school, enough guys to take us to prom. What are we supposed to do? Well, looks like you're just not going to prom. And that's exactly what we have in college football. 4,000 players that are asking to go to prom, that are begging to go to prom, and a fourth of them will likely be left off the table altogether. And here in 3 months, be looking around realizing I've played my final snap of college football and didn't even know it. I played my final snap of college football because I entered the transfer portal, wanted to find greener pastures, and I could not do it. There are schools doing this, right? There are the haves and the have-nots. If you have not been following much about college football recently, and there has been heavy talk of the NFL as it should be with the playoffs going on, if you have not followed, schools are now also given the opportunity to revenue share with their players up to $21.5 million. What does that mean? They can give the football team an extra $21.5 million from the school. What they mean by revenue share is, hey, we made X amount of dollars from TV, X amount of dollars from ticket sales. Hey, our deal with Pepsi cleared, so we're going to give you part of this money that we have in the bank. That is... we have opened it up. You're an employee now. My another big question I have, this is an aside that you can keep in your back pocket. When April comes around, I've got a couple jobs where I'm 1099. When April comes around, oh, hey, it's ramen noodles, everybody. We better tighten up for a little bit. Uncle Sam's calling and he wants some money. When April comes around, I'm the 1099 college kid making $4 million. Do you think he knows $1.3 million will be owed to the United States government? And you can't write off that Ferrari, but it's a work car. Don't think so. Then there are the stories of Parker Livingston, and this is an example, a high-profile example of why kids are being left off the table in the portal. Stuart Mandel tweets, when coaches complain about kids hopping in the portal, instant gratification, they conveniently leave out that not all of them leave voluntarily. He is retweeting a post from Parker Livingston, the Texas wide receiver. But then Bobby Burden is very clear. Livingston was offered a mid-six-figure NIL and revenue share deal and turned it down. The offer was never withdrawn, but yeah, he was forced out involuntarily, whatever. So wait a second. What I'm now learning is that there are players who don't like the offer they get, who feel disrespected. Arch Manning's roommate, Parker Livingston, feels disrespected by the offer he got from the Texas coaching staff. So instead of sticking it out there, instead of having loyalty to get $50,000 more, $100,000 more, possibly hurt your opportunity to play, hurt your draft stock, hurt the chances of you developing as a young man and a young person, to build those connections, to build stability, to be able to find, like, I was in a fraternity in college. It's not what college football is. I was in a fraternity though, and I can call a dentist now. You know, like I had good friends in college. I can call an insurance agent. I can call a guy who knows exactly what I should do when April comes around and my taxes are due. I have those guys in my foxhole in my friend group. These college football players, for the art of an extra $50,000, $100,000, are being asked to uproot everything for a little bit more money and say goodbye to their dentist, to their financial advisor, to their CPA, to their friends. Parker Livingston is an example of that, of the greed that is overtaking college football and how it's gone too far. We don't have a salary cap. Listen to these numbers from J-Book. According to the New York Times, here's the cost of doing business in the portal in 2026. Listen to this. Quarterbacks between $1 and $4 million. The early rumor is that Messmaker, the new quarterback at Oklahoma State, will make $7 million. $5 million for Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech. What would you do with $5 million? Offensive linemen, $600,000 to $1.3 million. Running backs, $400,000 to $900,000. Wide receivers up to $1 million. Tight ends up to $900,000. Edge rushers for $2 million. Interior defensive linemen for $1.5 million. If you're a safety, you only get $900K. Take that. Corners for $1 million. And as much as I want to blame the Parker Livingstons of the world, I have to go back and put myself in my 19-year-old mindset and just picture this. You're 19. You woke up this morning, the left side of your chin, there's a pimple. It hurts. You grab your backpack. It's like 85 pounds. The tough part is your first class, 2103, journalism for nerds, is in the Tidwell building. And your second class is in the sciences building for rocks for jocks. It's a 17-minute walk. The classes are 15 minutes apart. You lug in that backpack. Try to pop the pimple on the way. Do you wear your sunglasses for the 17 minutes? Do you not? Half the campus is shaded. Or you're 19. You woke up this morning. Pimple, left side of your chin. Going to work. Yep. Some dude got a fender bender. Bumper needs to be replaced. It's my job. I got to replace it. I turn on the Drake Toll show on Westwood 1. I listen to it. I replace this guy's fender. Yeah, great. New bumper. Congrats. Now, what if we add $1 million into that equation? What if we add $2 million into that equation? That's why I can't blame the kids. Because I personally would want that money as I walk across campus. I would want that money as I go in to repair a bumper. I don't blame them in the slightest. And honestly, you take me at 24 years old and you tell me that I'm working for KPMG, the accounting firm, and I get an offer from Deloitte, and at KPMG, I'm making $200,000. But Deloitte offers me $1 million. What are you going to do? We're talking about generational wealth that can be built here. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And it's the adults. It's the adults that have let it fester like this, that have let it get this far. Well, we're just waiting for the players to unionize. We're waiting for the players to unionize and become employees. It's not going to work that way. Why would I unionize if the system is working by and large for me and the players that it's not working for are just out of college football altogether because they turned down offers or they bet on themselves and they couldn't go anywhere else? They decided to enter the transfer portal and the career is now done because there weren't enough guys to go to prom with. There weren't enough men in the hometown to go to prom, so some of the girls are left off the table and can't go to their senior prom. What are we supposed to do? Invent more college football teams? Doesn't work that way. But listen to this. Listen to this. Of the national championship teams this year, Ole Miss, 68% of its starters, transfers. Indiana, 64% of its starters, 14 of 22, transfers. Miami, 55%. Oregon, 45%. That is extreme. We're looking at 51 starters out of the 4 teams left that are from the transfer portal. 58% overall. So if you ask the adults in the room to be the ones that police this because the kids are making too much money, by the way, Brendan Sorsby's $5 million contract is more than the entire rookie contract of Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders. His entire contract with the Cleveland Browns. Sans Stefanski. It's up to the adults to change this, and they won't. You know why? Because they know what it takes to win, and what it takes to win is the transfer portal and paying these kids obscene amounts of money. And I want them to get paid. Big Brother has been the one making all the money for the longest time. this billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar industry. It's Big Brother that makes the money. It's not the kids. It's not the employees that are actually going out there and performing. Well, it's the coach that helps them. No, the coach doesn't deserve $10 million to the kids $0. That's not right. But an adult has to stand up in the room and make it make sense somehow. Last note on this. Coach Choate, didn't know this guy. I had not heard of him until today. This is from Kalashi College football. He's the Nevada head coach. Nevada. Coach Choate commented on his transfer punter, Bailey Ettridge, who's entered the portal to go to Oregon. His former coach at Nevada comments, "You are welcome. Happy to be your farm club. Maybe send us some guys you want developed, and we will get them right." That's all it is now. Is I'm a coach at Nevada. I'm a coach at Western Kentucky. I guess my guys are all going to leave. Coach at North Texas. I guess I'm going to leave and take all of them with me. And they're going to make millions. I'm going to make millions. And the rest of you can get effed. I don't care anymore. I don't care because I'm going to win championships. I'm going to make money. It all works out for me. And no one's going to stop it because the haves have, the have-nots do not. And that will always be the way that it is in college football. If I had the money to fix it, would I? Or would that money have already corrupted me? Because it's corrupted everything else about the sport that I love. The NFL has more parameters. The NFL has more structure. The NFL is a better system than college. How many things in the NFL can we say, oh, really admire that, really wish we had that from the NFL? Whoa, well, I'd love to pull that from Roger Goodell's book. It's bad. It is bad. And I think you're seeing it in this postseason with a bunch of names where you're like, yeah, well, that's the guy we got for 1 year. We got to rent him. He's playing football for us now. We're going to win a championship. Great. Up next, speaking of championships, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Well, it starts with a wild card. It starts with a wild card. Let's give you a synopsis, a breakdown, who will win, how they'll win, and history on the line between the Panthers, Rams, Packers, Bears, everybody else in the wild card. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
You are live.
That's beautiful. They're thinking about playing at the end of the doors. I have fun fact, everybody. Big doors over here. I'm a gym big door fan. They also said war pigs. War
pigs. Doors. I like when they open correctly.
Doors reference.
They war pigs by.
It's playing right now. Actually, I play music now. I play
music
little breaks.
War Pigs is playing?
Yeah, no doubt. It was. I turned it off. So now what?
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I why couldn't I hear War Pigs? Also, you should also one day play the Faith No More version. That's a really good cover. Do you know who Faith No More is?
Probably.
I came to the conclusion last night when I was making dinner that I think you were cheating whenever you were guessing the songs and artists yesterday. I think you were looking at that.
I wanted to, but I was not cheating.
How did you know Velvet DeVoe?
What? That's only
you didn't know the turn of the neck. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been around. What did you say, Curtis?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay. Oh, 1 minute. I can do that.
That's important.
What did you say, Curtis?
I said 30, and I was like, I'm not ready.
Kirch
from Eververse. Real ones remember.
Real ones never forgot.
All right, 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drake Toll with you on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Live from Dallas, Texas, the heart of football country. And the worst defensive town in America. It's where defenses go to die, is Dallas, Texas. You can get in on the action this segment, talking all things wild card. If you're a fan of the Bills, the Jags, the Niners, the Eagles, if you're a fan of the Rams, call the show. 310-840-4910. Phone line is open. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. Drake Toll, Westwood One Sports, Westwood One Sports app. Let's give you a rundown of the teams in the wild card this weekend and the games that I have my eye on. Rams-Panthers is number one. This may seem like a mismatch. This may feel like a game that the Rams should win by 10 points. And that is why Las Vegas has the Rams as 10-point favorites. A big question I have that not a lot of people are talking about. A big question I have is less about the TV viewership side of it. Oh, Patrick Mahomes is not in the playoffs. What are we supposed to do? No Lamar Jackson. What am I supposed to watch in the postseason? The only guy who I even know in there is Josh Allen, and I don't even know. He's fine, but his team's kind of 12-5. They're just okay. My bigger concern is not that. My bigger concern is like Packers-Bears, Soldier Field, Saturday. It's going to be incredible. 7:00 game, Prime Video. It's interesting to me the NFL gave this one to Prime Video, kind of tossed them a bone. Al's on this call is going to be electric. Surely he's going to have the energy to give this one a real good go. The concern is $171 is the price to get into Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, whereas $473 gets you the worst of the worst nosebleeds at Soldier Field. You can get into the game, see the Jags play, $234, $208 for the Eagles, $199 for the Patriots, $125 in Pittsburgh. It's wild to me in a year without Lamar Jackson and without Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about TV viewership. Oh, it's not going to be fun to watch, and less about tickets You read those numbers, something just means more. We're getting the matchups that are going to bring you into the game, whether in person or on TV. Packers-Bears is an example of that. And maybe, I don't know. I personally am of the mind that access is best. The best PR is the most accessible PR. Prime Video is something that I think half of America still has maybe not caught on to. If you want to watch the NFL, you're going there. Stream East no longer exists. RIP, added to the obituaries. Stream East is no longer a thing. Illegally streaming these is getting harder unless you went to college and you know what to do. This Packers-Bears game is an example of how this new look playoff, it is a new look playoff, changing of the guard. Kevin Harlan will join the show later. We'll ask him about that. Changing of the guard is not a bad thing. Just because the Bears are hosting a playoff game, it's not a bad thing. It's against the Packers, and it could not get bigger. But that Rams-Panthers game, the aforementioned, Ben Johnson, not the only first-year head coach hosting a playoff game. Liam Cohen will do it with the Jags as well. But I've got confidence that Ben Johnson can do something crazy. And that's score at least like a touchdown or two with Bryce Young and Ted McMillan. Outside of that, I don't know. I am producer Addy Bates. Can you convince me that there is any hope here for the Panthers and the Rams and Ben Johnson and his team and Liam Cohen and his team, these first-year head coaches, or these new blood Panthers, these old school Rams? What is the biggest storyline, biggest team that stands out for you?
So for this week, and one of my favorite storylines, I don't know if it's the biggest, but one of my favorite has to be it's Packers versus Bears. Like, come on. That's amazing. Give me Yankees and Red Sox. That's what we're getting from this. And Ben Johnson, head coach,
do you
has
give
really
Bears Ben Johnson year one? Are we buying Ben Johnson in postseason, as we have not seen him be head coach in postseason?
I think the Packers this year are way too streaky. They're way too streaky. Like, this team, I have a good friend back home who's a diehard Packers fan, and he says, and he lives and breathes by this, shout out Brendan Kelly, that as long as Matt LaFleur is there, he doesn't think the Packers are going to win a Super Bowl. I kind of have to agree with him. They are way too streaky. Whereas this Bears team, yes, they kind of are. But I mean, the last time they played each other, it was a pretty good game. And I feel like you're going to build off of that momentum. You're going to build off of it. Now, if you go to the other side, let's talk about Rams and Panthers for a second. I said yesterday, this is probably the worst matchup.
Do you trust Ben Canales here? Is this or do you trust Dave Canales here with Ted McMillan, Bryce Young? Can those two guys do enough?
No. I think you have an MVP caliber Matthew Stafford right now. I think you have the defense here. It's playing at an elite level. I just think, there's a bunch of menaces out there. They're good. Like, they are like top 5 in the league in quarterback pressure rate. Like, you just have things are as much as they have been kind of like sliding recently. I feel like you're going to play against the Panthers. Like, oh, okay, yes, we're the Rams. Actually, we have a MVP caliber veteran as our quarterback here. I just think I said this, any team from the NFC South was not going to be able to beat anybody. I just think that division was too weak this year, and the best team was already eliminated 5 weeks ago in the New Orleans Saints, as they've been playing recently. So really, for that one, like, give me the Rams. It's not going to be pretty. Give me the Rams. But for me, the number one game, Packers, Bears, it's going to be awesome.
Who would have thought McVay Canales would be a revenge game? Who would have thought the Rams-Panthers is a revenge game from what happened a few weeks ago? I do think Matthew Stafford, again, he is my MVP, will get it done and give the Rams a win against the Panthers, despite them being on the road. Packers, Bears, again, a Ben Johnson-led team postseason head coach. Can Caleb Williams, the combination of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, can they win in the postseason together for the first time? We do not know yet. Can LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers go on the road against a team in the Bears that I think is a better team and win? I don't think so. I have more confidence in the new blood of the NFC North and the Chicago Bears, who are the 2 seed. And I have confidence that the offense of the Bears is clicking on all cylinders enough to expose a Packers defense that we've seen exposed multiple times this year. Big question, after watching that 49ers game, is the Bears defense going into the postseason good enough to be Super Bowl caliber, Addy?
Ooh, Super Bowl caliber? No. But I think this is a good foot in the door, kind of like showing what might be next year. Make little tweaks and stuff, but Super Bowl this year, absolutely no way.
Bills, Jags. Liam Cohen.
I also love this game.
Duval.
Duval.
Thank you. You're in on the Jags?
Am I in on the Jags? The Jags are probably one of like the hottest teams going into this postseason, but here's the thing with the Bills.
Is that a Trevor Lawrence
Their Achilles
reference?
heel.
I know where you're going there.
The Achilles heel, though, they're gone. The Chiefs aren't here. The Bills, this is your time. If Josh Allen, you got to bring the city something. They did everything going into this season. They did you saw the videos when they're trying to like banish this curse from Buffalo. They were doing all these things. Hey, remember when this historian did this? They got to get rid of this. They're burning things. They're trying to bring a championship back to the city. The Chiefs are out of it. That's been their Achilles heel. I feel like Bills, you have to win this, but you're going up against a really hot team right now. You're going up a hot team. But come on, Josh Allen, MVP Josh Allen, you're good. Like, this is it. This has to be the year for the Bills. This has to be.
Really excited to ask Kevin Harlan, who will join the show at 8:20 Eastern, about the 49ers and Eagles, two sides that met in the NFC Championship game a few years ago. This is an Eagles squad, Super Bowl champions, defending Super Bowl champions. The defense is still the defense. Adding the offense is where the question mark starts.
And it's interesting because that's another team when I think about this season's been kind of streaky. And I know a lot of people are really high on the Eagles, and I get it. You're the defending champs. You're going to go in there. You kind of have there is more pressure, I feel like. But it also is on the other team for the 49ers. We're going against the defending champs here. But here's the deal. Brock Purdy and the 49ers, pretty good this season. I feel like this is a pretty even matchup. I know the Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. The total, 45.5 that's interesting to me. I actually like the under in that if I had to take something in that contest. But man, I feel like the Eagles have the most to prove out of anybody here other than the Bills. So it's definitely going to be it's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Here is something I think most NFL fans, thank you, Addy, should wrap their head around. Rams, Panthers, I can forfeit one of those teams in the postseason. Packers, Bears, I can forfeit one of those teams moving forward. Bills, Jags, we can lose one of those and I'm still okay. Patriots, Chargers, we drop one of those teams and I'm like, all right, cool. The game doesn't change. Texans, Steelers, one will be eliminated. I will not lose sleep. 49ers, Eagles, the loser of that game will have still shown flashes of Super Bowl caliber play this year, will have still shown flashes of the capability to win in the postseason, yet one of them will have to go home when they meet at 3:30 Sunday afternoon on Fox, 4:30, I should say, Sunday afternoon on Fox Eastern time, that is in Philadelphia. Give me the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, with a leg up over the 49ers and Brock Purdy, because the defense still wins championships, even in an offense heavy NFL. In an NFL where the game has certainly changed, defense still wins championships in my mind. Addy Bates produces from Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter runs the board from California. Coming up, crazy New York Jets sports fan will join the show, and we'll talk to Kevin Harlan on the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One.
Bevo.
Not Bevo. Not Bevo. Sure, SMB7.
Arch. That'd be a good. I love that name. Archie for a dog. It's a cute name.
Stop. I named it Archie after Archie Manning.
You should do that.
Yeah, you're up. Chris is good.
I feel that it's real. I'm on trial, and I'm ahead again to prison. Like a coin in your man, I am dented, and I'm spared where my treason. Through a glass I get strong, as the one danger song. To the pilot of control. To the pilot of the song.
Here we go, baby. Take me to the pilot. Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. The sun caresses the skyline in Dallas, Texas, live from the beautiful view of a hotel room in the city where defense always sleeps. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization. Locked on Big 12. College football kickoff on Amazon Fire TV. Kevin Harlan will join us in 20 minutes to talk Eagles, his assignment this last weekend, as well as the Texans and the Steelers, where he will be on Monday night. In the meantime, it is time here on the Drake Toll Show for our Idiot of the Day. Drum roll, please, Curtis.
Idiot of the day.
And for our Idiot of the Day today, which is Aaron Glenn, this is now 3 days running on the Drake Toll Show. We are welcomed by crazy New York Jets fan. Crazy New York Jets fan, Aaron Glenn has earned our Idiot of the Day. Is that deserved?
Hey, Drake, here's the thing. I love you, but you should call me your Idiot of the Day because I root for this stupid team. It's been 15 years. 15 years without a playoff, okay? It's absolutely a hot trash mess following this stupid football team, and I'm the idiot. I'm the fool. I'm the stooge for rooting for this garbage, okay, for so long, Drake.
I was not going to put you in the category of idiot, crazy New York Jets fan, but there is something to insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The Jets, crazy New York Jets fan, had 0 interceptions in 2020. You would think at some point they decide to start picking the ball off because the more they didn't do that, the more they lost football games.
It's unbelievable. You have a guy in Aaron Glenn who acts like he's Bill Parcells to the media. You know, he's being smug to everybody, not naming a starting quarterback as if he's going to have some gamesmanship. His team ends 3-14. Done only 3 times in Jet history with Kotite and Adam Gase. All right, and he was a defensive back with the Jets. And you think this guy could train a team for an interception? It's a disaster, Drake. And I'm talking to my buddies. Okay, some of them know football, some of them don't, but all of them can laugh at the stupid Jets for doing something that this record, Drake. The interceptions can only be tied. Okay, unless they add more games. No one could ever break this record of 0 interceptions. We're a laughing stock all the time. This year was an all-time low. You want more stats? Drake, Garrett Wilson, okay? One of the only guys on this team who could play football. He hasn't played since week 6, and he's the leading receiver, Drake. It's unbelievable the hot garbage that this team has been subject to. My father is going to turn 70 in July. He was 11 years old when this team won the Super Bowl. Super Bowl III with Joe Namath, okay? Do you want more? We took Ken O'Brien over Dan Marino. It's been a disaster since I've been born, since my father's been born. Super Bowl III, Drake. You know, I'm revved up here. My heart's pounding out of my chest. But it's just a shame that we're talking about this stupid football team, and I'm happy that you're having Kevin Harlan on. You're talking about real teams. And how about Aaron Rodgers, huh? We were too good for Aaron Rodgers. We thumped Rodgers, okay? It tears my heart out to see him playing playoff football, but he wasted his time here with the Jets. This is unbelievable. I'm going to let you talk. I need to breathe for a minute here, talking about this stupid team, hopefully for the last time on your show for a good while.
Hey, take your time. It's the Marlboro Reds that will get to any New York Jets fan before the Jets do usually.
Huh.
So please keep.
I need him, Drake. Even at 8 a.m, I need him, Drake.
Keep the heart of the breather. Crazy New York Jets fan here on the Drake Toll Show. A couple of the stats that stand out to me: 3 quarterbacks threw over 100 times this year for the Jets. Had over 100 attempts. I cannot emphasize how bad Brady Cook was in the National Football League and at football overall this season, coming from Missouri. Tyrod Taylor got some time for the Jets this year. Worse than that, 32nd in the NFL in point differential, minus 203. 32nd in turnover differential. That will happen when you don't have any interceptions. 32nd in yardage differential, 1,564 fewer yards than their opponents. They're the first team in NFL history to rank 32nd in all 3 categories. Crazy New York Jets fan. I know that he's a very good high stepper. He's very good at running down the sidelines with swagger. But why on God's earth did the Jets keep Aaron Glenn?
Well, Drake, it's a wonderful question because you look at these other teams, right? And they're lousy too, okay? But the Jets are the worst franchise in sports, okay? 15 years, no playoffs, longest playoff drought in the 4 major American sports, all right? And the Browns, they go Stefanski, one and done. These teams make mistakes, and at least they move on, okay? Stefanski is gone. Pete Carroll with the Raiders, gone, okay? These teams at least can admit they made a mistake, okay? And Raheem Morris in Atlanta, gone. Glennon, gone again in Arizona. These teams are not by any means successful, but at least they can move on. But Woody Johnson and the Jets ownership, they have this little relationship with Aaron Glenn, who's never coached a game in his life. He was a DC in Detroit, okay, and in a great organization, which used to be lousy, which used to be the laughingstock, and now it's us. Unequivocally. You're right. He runs up and down with the swagger. Well, and how does he have any swagger? I mean, the guy didn't win anything with the Jets. He was on the 95 team, which is one of the worst teams in Jet history besides this year. Like you said, they had the worst December of any team of all time, and he's in these press conferences like he's Parcells. It's unbelievable that they think that we are going to, just because he played here and he was a decent Jet, that we're going to actually suck up to his nonsense, all right? These are teams, like I said, they're not any means a success, but they can move on. And Aaron Glenn has no business coaching in New York. And by the way, all this nonsense, they expect us to go to New Jersey, go to MetLife Stadium, take the train to Secaucus, and watch this garbage. There are not enough paper bags in my house to watch the New York Jets. I'm not going to a game by any means until they can clean up the mess. And Aaron Glenn, you are the captain of the worst Jets football team of all time. And he was on the 95 disaster team. Aaron Glenn, like you said, Drake, no business coaching. Why would you bring in a first-year coach in New York City? Which, even if you can call it New York City, because they play out there in New Jersey in the dumpiest stadium in the NFL.
It is Crazy New York Jets fan here on the Drake Toll Show. I'm going to give you a second to take a really deep breath before I ask you the final question I have for you. Yeah, you're welcome. It's the cigarettes, the pizza, and the black coffee that will get to you very quick. Crazy New York Jets fan is only 16 years old, I'm being told by our producer. It gets to you real fast. It gets you that Jets fandom. Again, deep breath, really deep breath. Detroit Pistons 121, New York Knicks 90. Go.
You got me revved up now, but double bypass over here with the New York Knicks. This Fugazi NBA Cup, all right? It's cool that they won a big game for once, but what does it matter? This team is now exhausted after putting all their eggs in that basket. Classic New York sports fandom. You got a team that put all their eggs into a Fugazi championship. And by the way, Look at this team. This team was a better record last year under Tom Thibodeau. Mike Brown. James Dolan goes on WFAN in New York yesterday saying Mike Brown, he's a collaborator. He's better with the players. Guess what? Those players are not playing a lick of defense. It's been a turnstile in the last 7 games. They're 3-4, Drake, since that NBA Cup. This team knows exactly how to peak in November and December. They're going to have no business with the way they're built right now. Can they please make a big trade? Dolan's saying they don't need to make a trade. They trust the guys. Is he watching the basketball games? Is he too busy with his sphere in Las Vegas? Is he too busy with the Rangers, who, by the way, are not making the playoffs either? Look, the Knicks did a decent job last year. They built a good foundation with Tom Thibodeau, and Mike Brown is here. He's got a lot of pressure, Drake. He's got a lot of pressure. Can he right the ship? Because he is the one who's playing these random guys. The load management, at least with Tom Thibodeau, Drake, I can rely on my team not load managing and playing like the 90s Knicks, okay? But I like the 90s Knicks. This team has no sniff at a championship with the way they're playing right now, okay? It's unbelievable, Drake. Thank you for having me. I got to take a deep breath and, like you said, maybe a cigarette or two and lay off the black coffee. I love you, pal, and never, ever talk about the Jets ever again on this station for a good while. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Harlan's coming on, right? Talk about the playoff teams. When are the Jets going to make the playoffs? 15 years. And again, I'll say it. My father was 11 years old when the Jets won the Super Bowl. Super Bowl three, Drake. It's unbelievable. It's garbage. I can't believe it. I got to go. I love you.
All right. I love you too. Crazy New York Jets fan. I will see you at the priest's confessional this afternoon. That was Christopher Sachi, the crazy New York Jets fan, to help us with our first idiot of the day, the entire Jets organization, and keeping Aaron Glenn. I think I need a cigarette and a black coffee after that. That was as good as it gets. When they ask, is old school radio back, I point you to crazy New York Jets fan and say that it is alive and well on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We only have time for one more idiot of the day, and then I'm going to need a breather before Kevin Harlan does come on the Drake Toll Show. Can you, Curtis, can you give me an idiot of the day bump once again, please?
Idiot of the day.
Yeah, no doubt. It's time for our second and final idiot of the day, and this one goes to a man that has more bathrooms in his house than passing touchdowns this season. Russell Wilson, this is from Pro Football Talk, has a parting gift for the Giants in the form of an inevitable NFL investigation regarding an undisclosed grade 2 hamstring tear he says he suffered on the last play of practice before the week 2 game at Dallas. Here is what Russell Wilson had to say to the media yesterday.
I played that game, I tore my hamstring on Friday in practice, the last play of practice, and I had grade 2. I couldn't tell anybody. I had to go play on it just because I knew the circumstance. I had to play on it, and no matter what, I actually ended up going to the Dallas Mavericks facility training, and kept it quiet, just tried to get treatment on it, and just knowing that I probably couldn't run from the goal line to the 10-yard line if I wanted to, but I feel like I got to play this game.
You tore your what? You did what? And then didn't tell the Giants? He comes out to the media and he's like, also, by the way, grade 2 hamstring tear. My hamstring was on the floor of the building. Oops. Yeah, so just if you guys wanted that information, there you go. Before game 2, week 2 at Dallas. And then Pro Football Talk says it smells like investigation. There's certainly going to be an investigation. Russell Wilson, the idiot of the day, for number one, not telling anyone his hamstring was off the bone. He retweets this and says, whoa, not the @Giants fault. They didn't know because I didn't want to tell anyone because of the circumstances. I just had to play through it to try to go and ball that day. Thought we were going to win that wild, crazy game. He tweets like my grandma. He tweets like my grandma, which could also put him on the list for idiot of the day. And another very serious portion of this. How many of you go into work at your office job at Merrill Lynch and your arm is severed off? but you just put it in a paper sack and your boss is like, what's that? You're like, I'm good. I'm fine. I think the job must get done today. There's a chance that we win this wild and crazy game. That is the equivalent of what Russell Westbrook is doing. Russell Wilson is doing. Russell Westbrook might as well be in the category. We can throw him an idiot of the day as well for plenty of reasons, I'm sure, and we will over the course of the next year. I don't get how you can be a professional athlete, rip your hamstring to shreds, have the greatest medical team in the world at your disposal, not say a single word, and then at the end of the year be like, hey, by the way, my hamstring was gone. Also, don't blame the Giants. I simply didn't tell them. I didn't disclose this to them. We go from the New York Jets and crazy New York Jets fan right into the New York Football Giants, two organizations that are they continue to do things that make me laugh and laugh. Idiots of the day, football in New York, and anybody, including crazy New York Jets fan, who is a fan of them, because I can't imagine what that existence is like. Russell Wilson, and on a more serious note, if you're an NFL player, NBA player, MLB player, any of those guys, and you do not tell the training staff that your hamstring is torn, good luck finding a next landing spot. Good luck playing again. Good luck having the trust of your organization, of the team, of the players around you. It just doesn't work like that. Hey, I jammed my right finger, my right pointer finger. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to be okay there. We're going to find a way to work through that. If you tore your hamstring, you're going to probably need to tell someone. Otherwise, the Giants will look like idiots. And once again, they needed no more reason to look like idiots. But Joe Shane and company certainly look like idiots today that Russell Wilson had a torn hamstring and just decided not to tell the Giants. Bad. He's our idiot of the day. Our two idiots of the day are Aaron Glenn, Russell Wilson, and everything that comes with them, the organizations that come with them. Addie Bates produces out of Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter. That's right. That's a real name. He runs the board in Culver City, California. On the other side of this break, Kevin Harlan will join the Drake Toll Show, and we will discuss with KH whether or not the Eagles, whose game he called this weekend, are Super Bowl caliber still, given their struggles on offense. He's the legend, Kevin Harlan, and he'll be right here on the Drake Toll Show.
32. You know I'm 305, tatted on my body. I got everybody in a job. Somebody hit the lights, camera, let me improvise. Can I get a hallelujah? More moolah, more peace for my medulla. The whole crew up, yeah. Louis Prada, Dundada, top flow, come take a ride up with the Prada. I came up from the bottom. You have no idea. You can't swipe through my story. Write my name in history. Fly open eye, re-emerge from the side like a god. I'm talking real guap. 23, 45 with the rock. I'm a lot. I am not what they think. I like it dirty. I be filthy with the ricochet. She threw it at me. I hit it right down the straight away. Feel like somebody put a blue pill in my lemonade. I think that's how I ended up in the bay with this pain in my head. You know I came up from the bottom. You have no idea. You can't swipe through my store. No sir. Write my name in his store.
Thanks for your
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
Yeah.
The sun rises over Dallas, Texas. The beautiful hue of pink and blue making its way over the skyline. The absence of defense or anything remotely close to it. As the trains pass by, the pedestrians make their way to work today. You and I have been at work together for the last 2.5 hours, talking all things sports, from coaches who have been retained to coaches who were fired on Black Monday, to the college football playoff, to the FCS national championship won by Montana State yesterday. But it's all built up from crazy New York Jets fan to the transfer portal's craziness. All built up to this moment with Kevin Harlan and whether or not Philadelphia Eagles are legit, whether or not the Steelers, who he'll have on Monday, are legit. All of that comes from KH and him being on the show. Sponsored by Robinhood. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. KH, let's do it. Back here on the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll from the Savannah Bananas and Locked On Big 12 with you. Kevin Harlan, Westwood One play-by-play, joins us, and Kevin will jump right into it. First and foremost, thanks for being here. Second most, are the Philadelphia Eagles, based on what you saw on Sunday and have seen this season, Super Bowl contenders again?
Well, I do think so. I think when you're a defending champion, you know, you go into the tournament with that foundation, and they have laid it all year long with some interesting play. They've been very streaky. They won 4 games, they lost 3. They won 4 more, they lost 3. Like they've kind of gone back and forth, volleyed from wins to losses all season. But when they've played well, they've been really, really good, and their defense is top-notch. And in the playoffs, this is what you want. You want your defense at a very high level. And with some of the offensive people they have, 2 1,000-yard receivers, the reigning Super Bowl MVP at quarterback, a terrific 1,000-yard rusher in Barkley. They've got enough. It just is, I think, maybe a little bit of a pause before the games really matter. The regular season was for them to reclaim the rhythm and everything they showed on last year's championship march. I have no doubt they'll reach it again in this postseason. To me, they are definitely the team to beat in the NFC.
When you hear noise, if you hear noise about Kevin Patullo and his job as the Eagles offensive coordinator, that seems to be what their fan base wants to harp on as they go into this postseason run. Do you have confidence that the offense can rework itself back into looking like a Super Bowl caliber unit?
Yeah, no, I do. I think the culture there, and most importantly, Drake, that the main components are there. The quarterback, the running back, a couple of very important offensive linemen, including the right tackle, and then the defense can carry them. But the offense has had trouble on first down, and they've had trouble on second down. Their bad first down performances have led to second and longs, which have really hamstrung the offense. This week, Patullo came out and said, we've done a major examination of our issues, and we think we have found, the thing that's kind of triggering these ineffective first and second downs. So my guess is they'll be ready to go. They rested most of their starters a couple days ago in Philadelphia in the loss to Washington. Probably a much-needed break for a defending champion who constantly is circled as the biggest game on every one of their opponents' schedule. Like that's the game that everybody points to, taking on the defending champions. So to weather what they've gone through, 11 wins, win the division for a second consecutive season, and still have all the basic pieces in place leads me to think that they've got answers for their offensive issues, and they'll be a very formidable opponent in the postseason.
He is Kevin Harlan of Westwood One here on the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports. Kevin, let's turn the page to the Steelers, who you'll have on assignment this weekend. The highest of highs, as we now know, that they will play in the NFL playoff, which 48 hours ago we had no idea. They beat Baltimore. The question is, do they have the staying power to continue this? They're one playoff game deep, effectively. Do they have the power to continue it against Houston?
Well, the one thing that I noticed last night was that Rodgers is playing at a very high level and a confident level. This is an important year for him. He had 2 weird years with the Jets after a storied career in Green Bay. He was looking for redemption. He found the right coach and the right vehicle, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers respectively, to take him there. And now he has gotten, I think, better as the season has gone on. He's not making crucial mistakes. He's got a 1-2 punch at running back. They're going to get their number 1 receiver back, DK Metcalf, in the postseason, which will be huge after his 2-game suspension. Their offensive line has been shaky all year, but we've seen Rodgers overcome those issues. I think they're going to be playing, and Drake, at the bottom line is they've got great momentum. They coming off that win Sunday night, they've got great momentum, and I think most coaches at the beginning of the playoffs would take momentum and health over anything else. And while every team is battling some issues health-wise, as are the Steelers, they've got great rhythm and cadence and momentum right now, and I think that's worth a lot.
No doubt. I think if you ask a lot of athletes and coaches, you're spot on that the momentum at the time going into the postseason, as important as it can get, the Steelers have that. And another team that has it, the Seattle Seahawks. Vegas has them number 1. That is your odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl and to take it all the way. You've seen a lot of NFL talent, a lot of teams in 2025-26. Is Seattle king among them?
Well, it has that feel to it. The running game really got untracked and performed very well against the 49ers. They've won on the road in Santa Clara against the Niners, and then they beat the Rams just a couple weeks ago, and that was a gigantic win. And those are 2 of the best teams in the NFC, with Seattle in that conversation. their quarterback has kind of gotten through a trough of ineffective play. They had a 2 or 3 game span where he was not at his best. The running game was lacking. But Sam Darnold has always thrived with a good running game, whether it was in Minnesota or this first year with the Seahawks. That just really triggers the best of his ability, and they've got it now. They've got a 2-headed monster with Walker and Charbonnet at running back. We know they've got skill at receiver, and their offensive line is holding steady. They've discovered the tight end as the season has gone on. They love the kid Barner, and all this kind of culminates in them being a number 1 seed. Their defense has been very timely. Seattle is very worthy of a number 1 seed. Really, you could have put the Niners, the Rams, or the Seahawks in a hat, shuffled them up, thrown them out on a table, and picked them, liberally, because they're all worthy of being a number 1 seed, along with the Eagles. But I'm very comfortable, and I think the football world is with Seattle being the number 1 team in the NFC. They've shown enough. They've played enough big games, and they've played in the most difficult division in the NFL and survived. And I think these are all marks they're going to carry to the postseason very effectively.
Kevin, that's a good nod to the NFC. Again, Kevin Harlan on the Drake Toll Show. At the AFC side, 10 years ago, you tell me that Denver and Pittsburgh and New England are in the postseason. You're thinking Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. This is a new look for some old logos out of the AFC, and I think it's the one of the more chaotic sides of an NFL bracket we've seen in a long time. Do you have an edge? Is it Denver with the 1 seed, or New England as well as they're playing a team with an edge out of the AFC, even that Houston team with a large winning streak?
2 teams I'm watching, clearly New England and Denver. I've done a lot of Bronco games, Drake, this year, and what you find is their defense is such the component that it makes the complementary portion of the game, which all coaches strive for, so great. I mean, their offense feeds off defense and vice versa. Yeah. And the defense has been opportunistic. The ranking has been in the top 5 all season. And they've got a second-year quarterback who has answered when the stakes have been the biggest. And that sometimes is rare, but he was a seasoned college quarterback. Bo Nix was at Auburn and at Oregon. He's got the right coach. And as the season has gone on, what I've found is that coach and quarterback have gotten so on the same page. Coach understanding what the quarterback's best plays are, and the quarterback having a voice in that quarterback room when they put together the game plan to really formulate, a game plan that fits what he can do at this stage of his development. But his maturity should never be overlooked. He came in NFL ready. He won the competition last year as a rookie, and they had a wonderful, first-year playoff appearance. But now they got the number 1 seed. At the beginning of the year, Drake, Sean Payton told us, I've had very few teams going into a season that I knew that every box had basically been checked. And he said that to us going into week 1. So he's had this premonition, Sean Payton has, about his team, what they could do. But defensively, they've held the ground. And offensively, while they've wavered at times, the most part has been a very solid performance and enough to warrant the number 1 seed. I don't know if anybody saw what Drake May would accomplish as a second-year quarterback with New England, because he was ahead of the schedule, but now the team has kind of caught up with him. And they've run the ball well. They've done all the things without a lot of flash. Their flashiest player, aside from the quarterback, who may be the MVP, has been Stephon Diggs. Now, we all know about the legal issues that have kind of surfaced over the last 10 days. Clearly a concern. Also with Barmore on their defensive line, he's got some off-the-field things. It didn't serve as a distraction this past weekend. My guess is it will not be a distraction come playoff time, and we could easily see that collision between the Broncos and Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Kevin Harlan here on the Drake Toll Show. And Kevin, before we get you out of here, talking the regular season, I want to put the regular season to bed because for me, it has been one of the more interesting and surprising years in the NFL, whether it's Caleb Williams or Drake May. Storylines abound going into the 2026 postseason. What has been the weirdest part of the NFL this year in the eyes of Kevin Harlan?
Well, probably just the changing of guard. We had a lot of teams that were not division winners last year because we had teams that we all thought were going to be there at the end, namely the Kansas City Chiefs, and I put Baltimore in that category, and Buffalo's in the playoffs, but kind of up and down in some ways, but with still pretty good momentum heading to the postseason. And the fact that, again, Burrow so affected what happened in Cincinnati. There are a lot of things from season to season which change, which shows you the beauty of the NFL. You can be a 4-win or a 5-win team one season, and the very next be a double-digit win team, win a division, make the playoffs, and be one of those teams that you're going to really hang your hat on. So the league is always changing over, churning over, and we saw it this year in particular. A lot of the teams we expected are not there. But then there's some great stories. The Rodgers story in Pittsburgh is, as I mentioned earlier, had the 2 off years with the Jets, found Pittsburgh to his liking. It clearly worked out well. And here they are with one of the most dramatic finishes of a regular season to get into the playoffs and win a division we've seen in a long time. So a topsy-turvy regular season. I think we got more of the same coming up in the postseason. But we do know this. The defending champion is still alive, and there are a lot of teams in the NFC which are going to compete against him. And until all is said and done, the Eagles have got to be looked at as the team to beat. And even though they're not a number 1 seed in the NFC, I think that clearly is the team to watch. And in the AFC, we've got 2 second-year quarterbacks that are taking the league by storm. Nick's in Denver, Drake May in New England, and in the regular season, both in their second NFL years, didn't disappoint. In fact, probably just expanded the reach of where a lot of people think they can take their teams here in the playoffs. So a lot of great storylines, and I can't wait to get this thing going this weekend.
You could argue these young QBs, Kevin, they're getting some coaches. They're putting coaches on the hot seat across the country. Everybody's wondering, why can't we win in year 2 with our fresh new quarterback, Denver and New England, proving it can be turned around and turned around quick. You'll have, I know, a ton of prep on Houston and Pittsburgh for Monday night. Kevin, enjoy the call. Thanks for joining the Drake Toll Show.
John, pleasure to be on. Thanks so much.
That was Kevin Harlan giving you a preview of what you could expect Pittsburgh and Houston on Monday, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles being the team to beat in the NFL. That is his take. Over the course of the next 3 days, here's what we're going to do. I think, Kevin, every answer was so sharp. We're going to utilize that to build on the storylines of what you can expect this weekend. Nobody watches the NFL closer, live and in person, than Kevin Harlan. He is one of the lucky few that get to be in a press box, multiple press boxes every weekend. Kevin gave great insight. We'll continue to revisit that and qualify why the Eagles may legitimately be a contender for a back-to-back Super Bowl run here with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, despite Patullo and the offensive struggles. And coming up, we mourn again. Black Monday yesterday, Kevin Stefanski fired by the Browns. A myriad of coaches lost their jobs. Was it justified? Was it right? I don't think so for at least a couple of these guys. We'll close everything out with a little Dead or Alive as well, all right here on the Westwood One Sports app and Westwood One Sports with the Drake Toll Show.
Weekend wraps up with an
Bomba-dee-da, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. 2, 3, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you ride that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you till we meet
I got a sweet little body and she's rolling in the caddy with me.
People kept asking me. They said, what happened? Where did it go? Where is the radio? When can I get in my car and take my kids to school and feel like the person that is speaking gets me, gets it? And I look out in Dallas, Texas, and I see the traffic on I-35. I see the people that are driving to work today, and I think, you, man, on the Westwood One Sports app, Westwood One, our hundreds of affiliates across the station, our incredible affiliates, you've got it. You've got it. Nick Costos will come up next. Black and Abdallah debuted yesterday. They're incredible. Abdallah, I learned, is a brother in arms when it comes to drinking Yoo-hoo. That's right, Yoo-hoo out of a can. He's a big fan of this. And I personally subscribe to that as well. I go to the large box stores, department stores, and I buy them in packs of 24. I get it. I understand it. Like and maybe the point here is I turn the TV on, I turn the radio on, and I hear the same thing over and over and over. And I never felt like I got it, right? When I grew up listening to radio in Little Rock, Arkansas, they would come on and do brackets. They would come on and talk about the beers they had last night. They would come on and they would talk about the intricacies of and maybe that game wasn't the final score, but it was the announcers. It was that sideline reporter whose hair was sticking up. It was something different, and that is what I missed about radio. But here we are. This is the Drake Toll Show. I'm Drake Toll from the Savannah Bananas organization. Locked On Big 12 college football kickoff on Amazon Fire TV. And this is what radio has always been to me. It is you. It is your involvement. It is the calls. It is the texts. It's the idea that a crazy New York Jets fan can call in and talk about how woeful his existence has been as a Jets aficionado and then immediately be followed up by Kevin Harlan. That is the beauty of what radio used to be to me. But after a while, we just got to the point where we wanted to yell at each other. Let's have co-host 1, co-host 2. You guys disagree, and go. Just start screaming. That's not it. That's not it. What's it is me sitting in the cab of my dad's truck with a Capri Sun and a Pop-Tart going to school and thinking, yep, that's fun. That's funny. That's radio. Today, Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, the year of our Lord, the day following yet another Black Monday, where we say goodbye to some of the NFL's worst. And I think we said goodbye to one of the NFL's best. I went to a steakhouse in Dallas yesterday, one of those steakhouses that your neighbors go to. They're like, yeah, we're going to so-and-so steakhouse. And you think, they really want to rub that in. That steakhouse is not good. It's got the name. It's got the brand, but the steakhouse is really, it's just not good. Because one time you won an award for work, or one time you got a bonus at work, you decided to splurge and go to a steakhouse that was an actual steakhouse, and you got one of the best pieces of meat you've ever had in your life. That thing had a great crust on it, cooked perfectly medium rare. And you learned, okay, that's what a good steak is, right? That's what a steakhouse steak is right there. But the neighbors, they love to, we're going to this steakhouse again. It's our second time this month. I went to one of those last night. I walked in the corner, there was a TV playing, and it was playing soccer, Nigeria and Morocco. The volume was up. What kind of steakhouse? It's one of those places where the lights are off. They didn't bring me a knife. I had to use a butter knife on my ribeye. Tough ribeye, by the way. Couple glasses of Cabernet, didn't love it. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to live the high. I'm on a work trip. I can write this off. I can submit it to the company. This is going to be good for me. This is going to be a little R&R at the steakhouse, and it just all around was bad. But you know the good part, the one good part about this steakhouse I went to in Dallas, this faux steakhouse that claims to be fancy and good and elite, and you can only eat here if you have money. You know what I did? I appreciated. My grandma owns a restaurant in Conway, Arkansas. I can tell when there are inklings of good. The steak was well seasoned, cooked perfectly medium rare. And I thought, there's a chef back there wearing a big old chef's hat. And that chef has been cooking away all night long for people like me wondering, why in the world does the owner of this restaurant let us have a TV in the corner? We're supposed to be a fancy place. We're playing Morocco and Nigeria soccer on January 5th, where so many things are going on in the world. Why am I at a steakhouse where the wait staff, it's like, here's a butter knife? Why am I at a steakhouse where I have to microwave the baked potato? Where I have to microwave the twice baked potato? He has been handcuffed, this chef who knows how to cook a steak, who can season a steak, who can cook it perfectly to temperature, but wonders why the cut of meat is so bad, and there's nothing he can do about it. It's Kevin Stefanski. It's the Browns. He's wearing his hat back there. Kevin Stefanski is wearing his hat back there. And he's looking at the waiter. And the waiter's Deshaun Watson. And he's asking the owner, why did you hire that waiter? He's not going to bring steak knives to any of the guests. He's going to put Morocco and Nigeria on the television. Why would you hire him to be a waiter here? He's ruining the experience for all of us. I didn't want this. I didn't want him to be the waiter. And the owner fires the chef. He fires Kevin Stefanski. He comes to the podium. What does he say? This is on us as the ownership. Unacceptable. Whole thing's unacceptable. Yeah, all right. Whatever. It's just the Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland. At least you're not the Jets, I guess. We're holding on to Aaron Glenn after one of the worst NFL seasons analytically of all time. All time. Bad. Speaking of bad, people have been dying. And that is a great segue into our Tuesday end of show segment. It's time for Dead or Alive. Addie Bates produces from Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter from California. Are you both ready?
Yes.
No.
Okay, great. Curtis, you were curb stomped in this last week. Number 1, Rowan Atkinson portrayed Edmund Blackadder and Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson, dead or alive, Addie?
Alive.
Curtis?
Yeah, he's alive.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson is alive, 71 years old. He is still with us today. Syd Barrett, dead or alive, rock musician, lead vocalist of Pink Floyd. Curtis, dead or alive, Syd Barrett?
Let's go dead.
Addie?
Dead. He died of diabetic complications in the early 2000s.
Not only is he dead, but I'm going to go with Addie here on probably that is how he died. I will give that to you. Danny Pintaro, dead or alive, Addy, the actor from Who's the Boss, Danny Pintaro.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
So he's dead to me.
Oh, okay. Addy's going dead. Curtis.
Put him in a coffin. He's dead.
Wow. Kurt, you had the opportunity to take the lead. Danny Pintaro is in his car listening right now at the ripe age of 50 years old, has never been healthier. Danny, thanks for listening to the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One. It's great to have you out there. Our apologies to your family and those who love you. Earl Scruggs, Curtis, is the most legendary banjo player of all time. Earl Scruggs, dead or alive?
I'll go alive.
Addy?
Dead.
It would have been
do
his birthday today. He would have been 101 years old. Instead, Earl Scruggs is dead. The Bowling Springs, North Carolina product is the reason that
modern medicine's amazing, you know.
Your host, yours truly, I play the banjo, thanks to Earl Scruggs. We have two more here. Danny Thomas, dead or alive. He is known for being on the Andy Griffith Show. Curtis.
Let's go dead.
Addy?
Fine, give me alive.
1991, heart attack. Yeah, he'd be 114 years old today if he was alive. Danny Thomas, no longer with us. Sorry. And last but not least, give me Malcolm Young, founding member of AC/DC, Curtis.
He was the one that was replaced, right? Dead.
Addy Bates, the music aficionado.
I hate AC/DC.
Oh, wow.
Malcolm Young. Maybe dead?
Malcolm
Who's
Young
Angus?
is dead. Absolutely. Yeah. Born in 1953
I
in
guess it's the
Glasgow.
guitarist.
Gentlemen's game. Really good game from both of you. Very good. Shake hands. Thank you. Those are the people who are dead.
Yes.
Those are the people who are dead and who are alive today. Happy birthday to Rowan Atkinson, Kate McKinnon, and Danny Pintaro, who are with us. Rest in peace. Would have been your birthday. Would have been Earl Scruggs, Danny Thomas, Bonnie Franklin, John DeLorean as well, and plenty more. Addy Bates produces from Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter runs the board from Culver City, California. I am Drake Toll. Thanks to Kevin Harlan for joining the show today. You'll hear more from him the rest of this week as we break down his take on the Eagles and more. Crazy New York Jets sports fan also joined us to talk about his sorrow and woes. If you want to listen back to the show, you can find it wherever you find your podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. The Drake Toll Show on YouTube. If you hit subscribe, I will get to keep my job. Loved hearing from all of you today on the text line and the call line. This has been, and it always will be. Thank you for spending your morning with us. It's the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.